Welcome back. Today we have a lucky word, a tragic expedition, a historic air flight, a luminary, a song, and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa, settle in, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for May 12th. May 12th is the 132nd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 133rd in leap years, with 233 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is fortuitous. Fortuitous is an adjective that means happening by chance or accident, often with a positive or lucky outcome, without evident causal need or relation, or without deliberate intention, coming or happening by a lucky chance. Example sentences might include, the company's success was the result of both hard work and fortuitous timing. Or, their reunions seemed fortuitous as neither had planned to attend the event. Or, in a fortuitous turn of events, the rain stopped just in time for the outdoor wedding to proceed as planned. The word fortuitous comes to us from Latin, where it had to do with chance or luck. Since the word came to English, its meaning has evolved to include fortunate or lucky outcomes that occur apparently by chance. First known use of the word fortuitous is in the 1650s. Fortuitous. And with that, on May 12th in the year 113, Roman Emperor Trajan dedicated a column celebrating and depicting his victory over the Dacians. Its design has inspired numerous victory columns, both ancient and modern, like these columns at the Clarkskirche in Vienna, Austria. Trajan's column is quite something, notable for its spiral bas-relief, depicting two wars between the Roman Empire and the Dacians. The Dacians, by the way, were Indo-European tribal people who lived in the area near the Carpathian Mountains, west of the Black Sea, roughly corresponding to present-day Romania, as well as parts of Moldova, Bulgaria, Serbia, Hungary, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Poland, and Ukraine. The Donner Party of pioneers departed Independence, Missouri for California on what would become a year-long journey of hardship and unspeakably desperate acts. I go more in depth on this tale of woe in a previous episode that I will link in the description for you. The first successful, powered, and steerable airship was invented in 1852 by French engineer Henri Giffard, who flew a steam-powered hydrogen airship 30 kilometers over Paris. Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin then pioneered rigid airships, Zeppelins, in Germany in 1900. The Italian-built airship Norge then became the first vessel to fly over the North Pole on May 12, 1926. Unfortunately, after crossing the pole, the airship's propellers became encrusted with ice to such an extent that pieces breaking off flung against the ship's canvas outer cover, causing several rips and tears in the fabric. Fortunately, the tears had not opened up the gas bags or caused any hydrogen loss. They were able to make such repairs as they could and continue on. A couple days later, May 14th, the Norge reached the Inupiat village of Teller, Alaska, where, with the weather worsening, they decided to land there rather than continue on the 70 or so miles, 113 kilometers, to Nome, Alaska. The Norge was then dismantled there in Teller, Alaska, and shipped back to Italy, presumably for repairs and refurbishing, but the repairs and refurbishing were never undertaken. By the way, the Zeppelin was a rigid airship, which contained a metal skeleton that retained its shape. But there are also non-rigid airships, blimps, whose shape depends on an internal gas pressure to keep their shape, like the Goodyear blimp. Blimps tend to be smaller and more maneuverable than the rigid airships. This is the birthday of English musician, singer, and songwriter Stephen Lawrence Winwood, born May 12, 1948 in Handsworth, Birmingham, England. We know him more simply as Steve Winwood. He began playing piano as a child and added drums and guitar shortly thereafter. His dad was a part-time musician in addition to his day job, playing in pubs and clubs, and he began taking Stevie along with him to play the piano when he was about 8. They would turn the piano around with his back to the audience to conceal the fact that Stevie was too young to be there. He joined the Spencer Davis Group in the early 60s when he was in his teens. They got their first contract with Island Records in 1964. The group's first single, Dimples, was released 10 days after Winwood's 16th birthday. Steve Winwood moved on to the group Traffic in 1967 and then formed the supergroup Blind Faith with Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and Rick Gretsch in 1968. Blind Faith only produced one album before the band dissolved. Traffic reunited for a few more albums until touring wore them out, and Steve became a session musician in 1974. Musicians got a music. Island Records persuaded him to release some solo albums, which he did beginning in 1979. Whether by himself or with others, he has released dozens of albums and singles and moved a generation with his music. He's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Traffic, has won 2 Grammys, has been ranked as Rolling Stone's 33rd greatest singer, and in 2025 was appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, in the King's Birthday Honors. Steve Winwood turns 78 in 2026. Happy birthday, Steve Winwood. So, of course, we're going to talk about a Steve Winwood song, but goodness, which one? There are so many. But, as often happens, one began playing in my mind, and it's Higher Love. Higher Love was the first single from his 4th studio album, Back in the High Life. Released in 1986, Higher Love was written by Steve Winwood and Will Jennings. We can hear backing vocals by Chaka Khan. Higher Love was Steve Winwood's first #1 song in the Billboard Hot 100 and has earned 2 Grammy Awards. Interestingly, the opening drums are one of those fortuitous situations in which drummer John J.R. Robinson was waiting for other things to happen and played an impromptu drum fill, which one of the engineers just happened to catch on tape. Producer Russ Titleman liked the sound and incorporated it into the song and opened the album with it. All from just fooling around on the drums, waiting for something else to happen. Some of life's best moments happen that way, don't they? Higher Love has done well around the world and has been covered by several artists along the way. Higher Love by Steve Winwood still gives me goosebumps. Link in the description. How about that? Today's quote is one that a viewer commented on one of my videos a while back. I looked for attribution for this quote, couldn't find any, so the viewer gets credit for it. And it is, when all else abandons you, music is still your friend. At Wayner71. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. Are we? Yes, we are recording. Okay. Okay. Count Verdant. Okay, hold on. Spell check wants to fix everything that's maybe not even broken.